Hey there. This reading is going to be for Taurus for February 2026. I hope you find something in here that's helpful for you. I think the layout of your reading so far, it feels a little bit vague. I sense that we're going to be clarifying a good bit for this reading, but at the heart of matters, it seems that you're choosing to walk away and essentially find a new path for yourself. Things may be feeling stale in life right now, a little monotonous, boring, or simply unfulfilling. And I think there's a restlessness that you're likely experiencing. It could be some deeper issues coming up from your subconscious that are kind of urging you in a new direction to seek a new type of adventure, or even just a new landscape. Maybe the familiar is becoming too familiar for you. And it seems that you're very aware of that. You have the Hanged Man in your conscious realm for this month. This is about looking at things in a new light, from a new perspective. Not necessarily trying to reinvent the wheel, but simply to look at things a new way in order to avoid repeating the same results that you've been getting that are not satisfying for you. Let's see if we can get some clarification on the Hanged Man. Yeah, so just to let you know what we're looking at, the Eight of Swords here is in reverse. So this sort of suggests that the feeling of stuckness is getting too old. It's almost like you can't go along with the act of feeling stuck anymore. It's not helpful for you. Let's see if we can get one more. Why is this Hanged Man here in the conscious realm? Yeah, it's like you can either look at your situation as like upside down and stuck, or upside down and exciting or curious or interesting. that in and of itself might be the new perspective. It's like, oh, like, how on earth might I have let myself get to a situation of feeling so stuck? Why might I have needed to experiment with losing all my power? Yeah, it's like the sense of adventure seems to be calling to you. Something new, something brighter. You don't even need to know what it is, really. It seems like the willingness to try something new is going to be the whole energy that you need to move something again, to get unstuck. And yeah, so there might be some heavier feelings that accompany the start of this adventure, but there's also going to be a lot of brightness and excitement too. You know, all the things that come with a new adventure. So I think that feels pretty right on for me. And it's interesting. I didn't see when it happened, but the Page of Swords jumped out and sort of landed near the Two of Wands in your subconscious realm. This sort of indicates that on a deep level you're either aware of a decision that needs to be made, or in some way you've already made a decision to create a new experience for yourself. It's like in a deeper way you seem to realize that you can't just repeat the same day over and over again, and even just that awareness can open things up. You know, this looks to me like changing from the pattern of like looking back at the past every single day and kind of reliving old hurts or old patterns, and more like realizing that each day is a new day to craft the world that you would like. If it sort of feels to me like you're done wasting time from a deep realization. This is a nice harmony to have with your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. They seem to be like working together, which is, it's good to have that alignment within yourself when you're trying to start a new chapter, to begin something new. And if the Page of Swords here is speaking to you as well, this could be speaking to the excitement of gaining new information, of looking at things in a new light, but also a bit of trepidation, a little bit of even skepticism, or a little bit of doubt. You know, deep things, deep parts of you that are afraid of change could be coming through this as well. So there's generally like an awareness that something needs to change for your situation. That just might also be accompanied by many feelings, positive and negative, or difficult and harmonious. Let's see if there's any more info we have about the Two of Wands in your subconscious realm. Interesting. There's a lot of very individual energy in your reading. There's different characters, but not a lot of people. So this seems to be something that's very much happening for you. You are the focus of this reading. So this could be a time to invest more thought and energy in yourself than you might otherwise. You know, yeah, it's interesting. I think with this new kind of decision making, this new realization that you craft your world every single day, you craft your sense of peace. The Queen of Swords also accompanies the Page of Swords here. So these swords are speaking to the nature of your mind, and So there's both confidence here in that what you're doing is the correct thing, that there is an element of discernment. This might even be, you might look at this as like your higher mind, your higher nature, or a guide, some sort of spiritual assistance that you have with you. An energy of clarity and helpfulness, something that will move you through the times of difficulty and confusion, or hardship. There's a strength that is kind of helping you in this process that you can trust. So I think, again, to reiterate, it seems that you can really trust yourself and your intuition. Even though I don't see a lot of intuitive cards here in your reading, I think the between the lines suggestion is that you can trust the way that you feel, your deeper callings. In your challenge for the month, you have the Eight of Pentacles. This is about the kind of work that you do and the way that you show up each day to the work that you have in front of you. Let me get a little bit of clarification. I think this could go a lot of ways as a challenge. Why is the Eight of Pentacles in the challenge for this month? Interesting. Yeah, it may be difficult to show up to the established patterns that you have happening in your life, like your work routine or just the projects that you're involved in, because there's a lot of like soul revelations or deep realizations that you're having about yourself, how you feel, what you desire, what you truly want. Your Eight of Pentacles is clarified by the Judgment card, the Five of Cups, and the Page of Wands. So there is this new excitement here. With the Fool, the Page of Swords, and the Page of Wands, this is a lot of like beginner type energy. So you have both the excitement here, the intrigue, the intellectual stimulation for what might come with this new direction that you're heading, the adventurous spirit embodied by the Fool. But this may be creating an opportunity for a lot of difficult feelings to be coming up as well. Some sorrow, some sadness, some deep hurt. And so maybe trying to, if you feel like even though there's a lot of new things changing in your life, but in some sort of ways you still have to show up in environments that feel stale, things that you feel you're outgrowing, but you still have to be there right now. It could feel difficult to strike this balance between investing your time and your energy in your new direction, your new interests, and making the transitions from what feels very established in your life so far, what feels secure. And the thing of it is, it may be difficult because there's maybe objectively nothing wrong with the patterns of life you're in, your job, your routines. But again, I think that the feeling is that they're not fulfilling. So it's like there might not be anything egregiously wrong, but you're just not happy with it at the moment. So striking that balance could be difficult. And with the Judgment here, it's like you're trying to make the call. You're trying to feel and discern the wisdom in what you're doing. Like what truly needs you to be present in this moment, and maybe stick to a situation that you'd rather not be in, versus when is it time to cut ties with that situation, with the person, the organization, the pattern that you've been stuck in. But again, I think with so much emphasis on like newness and adventure, I think the message coming through is that it's okay to change things up even if they aren't incredibly broken. From an outsider perspective, if they're just not making you happy, if you're called to something else, because sometimes we're called in a direction that we don't understand at the beginning, but it ends up taking us to a place that's elevated, much more fulfilling than what we had been involved with. So that balance could become difficult. Let me see if there's any other piece of info that wants to come through regarding that Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, the Seven of Swords has jumped here too. So, I mean, this tends to be just a confusing energy for me in general. This could be an element of like not knowing what is true, like when not knowing if you're kind of being naive or childish about what it is that you expect, or not knowing if someone is trying to undercut you, or not knowing if somebody is somehow energetically affecting you in a negative way. It's like confusion, sabotage. It could manifest as a lack of trust in yourself. There may be moments where you feel more foolish than like the empowered fool who is brave and courageous. So it may feel particularly challenging in this moment to like pivot to a new direction with so much confusion in the mix. And this could speak to old patterns trying to rise up when you've wanted to change something in the past, but you've found like, oh well, there's so much evidence that suggests that I'll never be able to change, or I've tried to change this pattern like 5, 6, 7, however many times in my life, and it hasn't been successful. But I think whatever voice might be feeding that pessimism or that feeling of defeat and disempowerment, that's not something that you need to let take the lead in your actions. Like, so allow that this voice is here, and that there's this part wants to be helpful, but I would encourage you to let that fall to the back and continue focusing on building the new patterns for yourself, because there's always going to be a voice of dissent in times of change, because I think it feels like you want to like confront the terror barrier that we all face when there's a significant change we want to make in our life, when we want to become new people, change our paradigm, change the way that we feel. That's a big shift. So this isn't an unnatural voice in your mind or an unnatural energy popping up, but it's one to hold with nurture and care as well, because you got to keep moving in your new direction. That's the essential truth of it. So there's going to be some resistance, but the advice here is to really embrace your own creativity and your own spirit, and your own sense of beauty. I think there's an encouragement to allow yourself room to experience what is beautiful to you, to be courageous in putting your heart out there, to express something in a heartfelt, loving way to someone, when maybe you would have just like kept that feeling to yourself, maybe silently admired them. Let me get some clarifiers on this as well. Why is the Empress here in the advice for this month for Taurus? Interesting. think yeah, okay. I think the Empress is here because in the way that people may clear a forest by, like, you know, burning the trees and the underbrush and just kind of clearing that land so that new growth can come through. I think the Empress is here to let you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that some set of patterns or a phase in your life has come to an end, and you're just, there's simply nowhere else to go but to invest in, to create from a starting point again. The Empress is clarified by the Ten of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, and the Tower. So these are both probably the most definitive cards to suggest the end of a phase or of an important structure in your life. And with the Two of Pentacles here, this is, it's almost like creating something new is your way of carrying on. You know, so before maybe you were trying to just, even though life was very difficult, throwing you a lot of challenges, you were balancing things out as best that you could. You were handling all of your responsibilities as best you knew how, to remain as true to yourself as you could be. But right now, the way of keeping your life feeling balanced and sane and is actually to create something totally new, to not follow old patterns anymore. This is like prime, neutral sort of territory that you are in right now, it seems. So your way of keeping balance as a person, of regulating your emotions, is through some sort of creativity, of allowing yourself to bring into being the thing that you want to see, of following, striking out on that path, that new path, and allowing yourself to be the creative person that you are on that journey, because that's kind of the only option, it seems, right now. So if your hand has to be forced to live a certain way or do a certain thing, this feels like a very positive sort of nudge in the direction that's going to, like, take you toward your happier future. For your advice to be so bright and so immersed in nature, kind of the feeling is that there's advice to trust your natural self, your natural inclinations, the things that make you happy, and even just nature in general, like taking a more simplified approach to your health and the structure of your day. Basically, if there's not some element of, like, joy and playfulness and spontaneity, it's going to be very difficult. You may be sucked into a negative feeling or a depressed state again, if you don't allow yourself that room to create. So yeah, this is here, and this may have reached you at sort of like a rock bottom type moment, or a moment where, like, absolutely nothing in life makes sense. So it's like, why not go for what feels good to you? Why not go for what intrigues you? What lights you up? So let's see if we can't get a couple of oracle cards to conclude your reading. We might go a little long on this one, but I think it'll be worth it for you. Can we get some oracle cards for Taurus? I think there's an emphasis on, like, create however it is that you feel compelled to create. Like, whatever ideas pop into your mind, it's like, oh, maybe I could cook that new dish, or I could try making art with this, new tool or new medium. start using my written words to affect change in my life, or to gain clarity, to gain new perspective. Maybe allow yourself to feel more open and free and called to create in that expansive way, because there's no reason not to. Interesting. Okay, so your oracle for this month, you have postponement, change, and slowing down. This may be a month where you have to kind of go moment by moment in order to kind of feel your way into this new way of being. Postponement can speak to a lot of different aspects of, I mean, it can be an advice, it can be advice to slow down a little bit, to hold off on the thing that you've been really trying to like force to happen, or it can be a warning to not continue to postpone the things that you have been postponing, to become involved with life, to begin doing things that allow you to more tangibly feel alive, more active creation. And with the slowing down here, there may be things that you need to postpone to prioritize your own creativity. That's going to be maybe difficult, but very important to do. Yeah, I invite you to consider for a moment the turtle at the glistening rainbow-like pond. What does it feel like to be a being receiving the sunshine and the promise of a cool, new, peaceful environment, a new landscape to explore with more tranquility, more ease? Yeah, there's a lot of change happening here. And I think I'd like to read from the guidebook on this one in particular, because this definitely feels like a moment of great change for you. The symbol in this card is an enormous wheel representing time, fate, and karma. Galaxies spin around this constantly moving circle, and the 12 signs of the zodiac appear on its circumference. Just inside the circumference are the 8 trigrams of the I Ching, and even closer to the center are the 4 directions, each illuminated by the energy of lightning. The spinning triangle is at this moment pointed upward, toward the divine, and the Chinese symbol of yin and yang, male and female, creative and receptive, lies at its center. It has often been said that the only unchanging thing in the world is change itself. Life is continuously changing, evolving, dying, and being reborn. All opposites play a part in this vast circular pattern. If you cling to the edge of the wheel, you can get dizzy. Move toward the center of the cyclone and relax, knowing that this too will pass. So, I wish you a tremendous amount of power in these changing times in your life, and I hope that you'll find a playful spirit through all of the change and strike out on a new path that really suits you, even if it feels a little unaccustomed, a little bit unfamiliar at the moment. So definitely wish you a lot of sunshine and happiness and well-being. And I will talk to you again. Thank you.